Hello everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess, here to do your bonus reading for Friday the 26th of October. I just went and changed cards for this reading. I just have this thing when we're doing two readings back to back that sometimes similar cards come up, and I've changed a few times and I still get the same cards come up in the other deck, but it doesn't matter. I just feel sometimes that we're giving it an extra chance to give us some new messages. So thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I hit 3,000 overnight, which is amazing. So I'm so thrilled that you are all choosing, that you like my readings, that you trust the messages that I'm pulling through. I love it. I have had the most amazing compliments and really has changed my thinking a lot. People saying they love my voice, and for so many years, you know, your family tell you about your voice and you think, wow, that's what it is. So I'm really thrilled that you give me such beautiful feedback. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet subscribed, then of course I'd love to have you on board. I say that every time, but it's true. Hopefully then I can bring you some messages. I'm going to go back to using the Thelema deck for a little while. I really love this deck. I love all my decks. They're all my favourites. But the Thelema one is really, it's very ethereal. It sort of makes me feel very fairy-like. So, okay. Ready to do your reading. For Friday the 26th. Let's see. I'll tell you about the pictures here. Look at that. This is the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like, and I did in the What's Cracking reading, a lot of people working hard at the moment, not just on their jobs. This is about working hard on your own, I was going to say your own shit too, sorry, your own stuff, the internal stuff, like digging deep and sort of understanding yourself more. I love the spiritual journey in that we, you know, really get to understand who we are. We know we're not just on the planet to, you know, eat, work, have sex and die. Like, that's just not why we're here. We're here for a much higher purpose than that. And it's taken many, many centuries to understand this spiritual journey. But I think for a lot of you who are going through this process at the moment, sort of digging deep, working on yourself. Now, this can also be about people working extremely hard too. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the cards around businesses trying to get off the ground. And I feel like a lot of people, especially on this channel, have their own businesses. And we're talking sort of healing businesses to do with spirituality. So a lot of you working very, very hard on that at the moment. Okay, oh, beautiful. Because all of this leads to being able to manifest. So the whole idea of manifestation is that you understand how it works, and many of us don't. And it takes a lot of work to dig in amongst our spirituality to understand how we can manifest things. But we're held back by ego, by things we're taught in childhood. We're taught, you know, things like, you know, your parents probably, or more than likely said to some of you, things like you'll never amount to anything, you'll never be able to be rich, you know, being rich is being greedy, having money is being greedy. And I know a lot of people think that this is the case, but actually nothing that you've been told in that regard. That's all about human failure. People who have missed the mark, making sure nobody else gets there. It's the tall poppy syndrome. It's the pulling people down to meet your level. So you are capable of many, many things, many, many things. You've just got to set your mind and heart in that direction. Lovely card to have out in this reading. And then we have the Three of Pentacles. So there's definitely this feeling of working on something here. This can be trying to manifest a business, manifest a relationship. I think some of you probably are trying to bring forth a child, trying to make babies. I've had a lot of that this week. But definitely trying to manifest something through this work that you do. The Three of Pentacles can talk about three people being involved, so it can talk about work, situations, projects, things like that. But it also can talk about partnership, because it can talk about two people working together to create something new. But this is definitely about working on something. The Queen of Cups comes out here, so you could be working on something with a water sign, a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. This person is beautiful. They're very balanced with their emotions. They're very comfortable in who they are. They can be very psychic, which sort of gives rise to the whole idea of working on spiritual businesses. But they also can be quite motherly too. And I know that this sometimes comes out in readings when mothers aren't quite such nice people, but you get a different feeling. With this one, I get that real nurturing, loving, kind sort of feeling from. Okay, Seven of Wands here, another card that came up in the daily read. Seven of Wands always talks about don't, build fortresses around your heart. Understand that you need to sometimes defend yourself and stick up for yourself, yes, but don't make it so you've built a castle around yourself and nobody can get in. So it's sort of like on the one hand saying it's good to put defenses up, but on the other hand, don't cut yourself off. I'm just getting into the feel of this reading. It's very different. So the Queen of Swords is here too. So you could be a Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. This also could be about you understanding, because you come up at the Queen of Cups here. And it's sort of like you understanding how to work with your emotion and who you are. But it's also about you understanding that you still need to speak up when you need it. And I sort of got that feeling with this Seven of Wands too. It's all very well to, put defenses around yourself and protect yourself with boundaries and, and putting things in place. But be careful you don't cut yourself off. So for some of you here, this is about finding the balance between your heart and your head, especially in business and especially when you're manifesting. The universe is saying to you, you need to make sure you keep a good balance between the two. The Four of Cups is here, and the Four of Cups talks about boredom, ennui, not being satisfied with things the way they are. Okay, message here. Some of you are trying to bring a business into being, and some of you are doing too much heart stuff and not enough headspace. So this is a balance between loving and wanting a business and understanding it's a business. It needs to be run like one. Some of you are having trouble with that. Now, I can remember a friend of mine years ago, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, but she let people get away with everything. And I kept saying to her, you have to stop thinking from your heart. You're running a business here. What people are doing isn't correct. You need to find some way to deal with it. And she did, briefly. What this is saying here is if you want to have a business, you have to sometimes put your heart stuff aside in order to run the business as a very practical and logical thing, because you're not at the moment. And what's happening is you're giving, and you've got people who are taking advantage of you. And in order to do something with that, you're becoming actually quite defensive. And that doesn't work either. So you need to be able to manifest and build on what you've got here. You need to understand that you're running a business and it has to be a business focus. If you're having trouble with that, go and get some advice, because you have potential here to have something amazing. But you've just got to learn you can't run a business with your heart. Sorry, it can't be done. You've got to have some business acumen. And sometimes that means getting some information from someone else, because you have the potential of manifesting something fantastic here. Great potential, but you're becoming defensive because you're not understanding how you need to do this. Look, balance, my friends, balance. Now, this could also be in relationships. So in order to manifest a relationship that you want, and you know that you want to put the work in, you have to understand you can't just love someone. You have to think about it too. You can't just keep giving without receiving something in return. So sometimes you have to put boundaries in place and say to people, I can't keep doing everything for you. I'm loving you. I'm running around looking after you, and you're giving me nothing in return, not even appreciation, because this is how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm pissed off with this. The universe is saying balance. What you give, you've got to get back. You cannot run a business, nor a love affair, nor a relationship unless you are receiving back again. Otherwise, it's toxic, people. You are creating a toxic environment. So here we go, Six of Swords. So here's you moving away from this energy. And this is a good card to have here, because it's not that you're moving away from something bad. You're moving away from something that you are doing incorrectly, and it's hurting you. It's not doing any damage to anyone else, because everybody else is benefiting from your good heart. And you need to walk away to understand this. This is the energy you need to take on. Okay. In order to do this, you need to be like the King of Wands. He's passionate, he's driven, but he understands how business runs. He understands how a relationship works. Now, it could be a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. What I can say to you, this is someone in your life who may be able to help you here. And it's possible for some of you that this person's already been telling you this, but you're not listening. So what I will say to you is you cannot do anything in life without it being done in a balanced way, unless you want to take advantage of it. Now, even if you have children, here's a good example. Spirit's showing me. If you have a child and you're raising a child, for some of you this may not be relevant, but you will understand what I'm saying here. In order to love a child and bring them up in a very fair and equitable manner, you have to put boundaries in place for them to understand that they're safe within the relationship, that there is only so much they can get away with, and how to temper their feelings and how to find balance in their life. It's your duty as a parent. So if you have children and you just give, what happens? They don't understand, they don't feel safe, they become naughty, they're trying to look for attention because they don't feel safe, that sort of stuff. The King of Wands is saying here, you need to actually look, because it's lucrative, it's amazing. Whatever this is here, 10 of Pentacles stuff. This is super duper amazing stuff. You have the Magician here. Whether this is relationship, partnership, family situation, doesn't matter. The idea in life is to make sure that you give with an equal balance. So if someone's not giving back to you, that's toxic. They're taking and not giving. Now, I don't want all sorts of comments about that. I know that that is true. In order to be loved, you have to set boundaries. You can't just keep giving people love, because they will do this. They will walk away after a while because you're not showing them truly who you are. You are showing them just love. It's not how life works. So I'm not saying don't give love, because I think that's extremely important. But if you're giving love all the time and you're wearing yourself out, you'll be totally exhausted. Sorry, but that's how it works. That's why emotional vampires come around, because they don't know how to give back. They just take. And I'm sure all of you know what that's about. So you've got to be able to respect yourself and say, you know what, I love you. I'm willing to put in 100% for this. But if you're not willing to put in even 2, then I'm done. It's about giving and taking. Oh, I've got really passionate about this message. Very passionate. So I feel like some of you are understanding this, that it's not, we're taught all the time, you know, to give love, to, you know, do this, do that, give of ourselves. Yeah, but, you know, at some stage you've got to have something back. Whether that's respect or something tangible. The card that's come out from the Oracle is called Resurrection, and talks about reprise, recovery and comeback. I'm sure that's going to fit beautifully with this reading. A little bit different to the day reading, but still a bit of the same theme here about people understanding that you know, you deserve to get something back from things. Ah, right at the end, last card. It says the change can be made swiftly. This change can be made and swiftly. Ask for assistance and it will be yours. Let go now and move swiftly through the transition. Told ya, perfect Oracle card. Resurrection. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone.